Good afternoon, good morning, good day. Hello everyone, we are back at the Wargaming table here on the Sitrep Podcast. I am your host, Oriskany Jim, and today we are truly global. I am joined by my friend Dylan, way over in the land down under. Mr. Dylan, how are you doing today?
Morning Jim, I'm doing really well.
Okay, so what we're doing today, guys, what was requested was Panzer Leader. We were looking for a new arena in which to try modern Panzer Leader, and this is where we wound up at. What we're looking at here is what might happen if the Russians make a push at the Baltics. Not the Balkans, the Baltics. This is in the north of Europe. This was featured in a recent issue of Strategy and Tactics, specifically issue 327, March and April 2021. What we're talking about here is of course, Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia. These are former Soviet republics. These used to be actually part of the Soviet Union. I know most of you guys in the chat probably already know that, but just in case people watching on YouTube later on, don't know this, these are former pieces of the Soviet Union. They are now member states of NATO. This is also sort of slicing off Soviet Union, or what used to be the Soviet Union. This is slicing off Russia's access to the Baltic Sea. This cuts into their trade, this cuts into their navy. This has been a very, very sore point with the Russians since the days of Peter the Great. If you don't believe me, ask Charles XII, the whole Great Northern War. This is the Battle of Narva, Battle of Poltava. This goes back to 1709. The Russians have always been this is like the Russian Suez Canal or the American Panama Canal. Whenever you start threatening Russian access to the Baltic Sea, they get sensitive quick. Now, even when the Soviet Union broke up, they did manage to hold on to this little enclave here called the Kaliningrad Enclave or whatever, just so they have some access to the Baltic Sea. Of course, they also have St. Petersburg. This used to be Leningrad. It's not enough, and it's also, as you can see here, they have to travel through NATO states in order to get there. This is a major Russian naval and air base. In order to connect back with their home country, they have to drive over highways that run through NATO countries. This isn't going to work for them. So this is always going to be a bone of contention, and the Russians are never going to like the way things have shaken out up here along the Baltic coast, vis-a-vis Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. Ever. They're never going to sit well with it, trust me. These are fiercely independent countries. They fought the Russians in April 1940. They fought them from 1945 to 1953. People who think World War II ended in 1945, I'm so sorry. Don't ever say that in Lithuania, Latvia, or Estonia. Their war didn't end until 1953 because they fought the Soviets hard when the Russians came back in to reoccupy these countries when the Germans got kicked out after their invasion of Russia. I don't think this war could happen, at least on a top-down conventional sense, kind of like what we're going to do today in our war game. However, this could become the next Ukraine as far as this new six-stage Russian deniable warfare doctrine that they've instituted. These are countries that have large Russian ethnic populations in them. The Russians can covertly stir up some civil unrest in these countries. There's going to be a backlash against that. This is their new playbook. This is what they do, deniable warfare. That could totally happen, in fact, if it hasn't already started. But what we're doing in today's Panzer Leader game is saying, okay, all that has failed, and by the year 2025, the Russians are coming in here, Zhukov style. So we're imagining, just for a change of pace, a battle in the winter. So we're looking at a snowy battlefield here. That's not really going to have any effect on gameplay. Again, we're just looking for a change of pace. And we are also looking at some forces. So the first NATO force is going to be Iron Wolf Brigade of the Lithuanian Army. The Lithuanian Army is really only 4 brigades, on top of training commands and reservists and civilian volunteers and things like that. It's well equipped. They've got, Javelin anti-tank missiles, American-made Stingers, Czechoslovakian mortars. They're doing pretty good as far as infantry weapons go. These new Wolf APCs are armed with Israeli anti-tank guided weapons. So they're not doing too bad. They're just so damn small that if the Russians ever really crash through Latvia and come down south into Lithuania, again driving towards that Kaliningrad enclave, they're going to be a speed bump, and really that's really going to be about it. It's just a matter of numbers. 2nd Battalion of the Iron Wolf Brigade. This is the best brigade in the Lithuanian army. Again, I'm not making up any of these units. These are the actual units that are deployed in the area. And God forbid if this war should start, these are the guys that would be in the thick of it. So they're going to try and slow the Soviets down, or the Russians down, I should say. They set up on the table, and they tried to hold the objective hexes as the Russians come on the table. After a certain amount of time, the NATO heavies are going to come onto the table. These are not the British, these are not the West Germans, these are not the Americans, these are the Poles. In this part of Europe, Poland is the main power. Because Poland is not a small country. They've got a pretty big economy, they've got a pretty big army. I think it's like 6 divisions, 6 frontline divisions plus 3 reservists, something like that. And they're outfitted pretty well. We're looking at some older Leopard 2s. So those are some very, very powerful NATO main battle tanks. If you've ever used Leopards in Team Yankee, you know what I'm talking about. They're also looking at some tanks. They're upgraded T-72s. The Poles have, when the Soviet Union and the Warsaw Pact kind of imploded in the early 90s, they were left with a huge T-72 fleet when they were part of the Warsaw Pact, obviously. And obviously the T-72 is a terrible tank. Nevertheless, the Polish army has been trying to make lemonade out of lemons, so to speak, and they've been upgrading the hell out of those T-72s. They've also got some older Hinds. They've got some Turkish drones. Poland has been buying some drones from Turkey, of all people. They're going to be on the table. They're not armed, but they will be good for spotting Russian targets undercover. Some American Humvees carrying their headquarters, and these new Rozomax. I think that's Wolverine in Polish. Also notice these new Polish counters are carrying the WZ-93, the WZ-93 Pantera camouflage scheme. We do go for realism here in these Panzer Leader games. And that's going to be about it. Yeah, now they are going to arrive on turn 3. The Russians, meanwhile, are coming in, and they're not playing around. They have a pretty serious force. A normal Russian tank battalion, again, this is the lead battalion of 138th Guards Motorized Brigade, that's part of 6th Combined Arms Army. Yeah, so we got a command element of T-90s, and then 1 battalion would be 3 companies of 3 platoons apiece. They are slightly reinforced. There's basically a 4th company attached to it. Some Hinds carrying VDV Guards Airborne Assault Troops. This is specifically 76th. Let me look that up here. Yeah, 76th Guards Airborne Assault Brigade. They are part of 6th Combined Arms Army, Western Military District, based out of St. Petersburg. And then a battalion of motorized rifles in BTR-82s. First of all, thanks very much to Dylan for showing up. It's like, what, 7 o'clock in the morning over there on a Monday?
Yeah, but it's a public holiday, so it's all right.
So, yeah, so number one, I do somewhat apologize that we are starting a little late today, but we are accommodating, people who have volunteered to help us with our Sunday content. So that's the reason that, number one, we're off on a little bit of a different time slot today, and number two, this game is already in progress to kind of cut down on the lead time. So, again, here we're looking at Iron Wolf Brigade. They set up as best they could to defend the 5 objective hexes. Typical Oriskany game, 5 objective hexes on the map. If you own 3 at the end of the game, that is a marginal victory. If you own 4, that's a tactical. If you own all 5, that's decisive. Here come the Russians. So this is the situation at the end of turn 1. The Russians came on pretty much hot and heavy. They're not playing around. As the Russian player, my objective was to overwhelm as many of these objective hexes as I could while I was only fighting the Lithuanians. The Poles arrive on the beginning of turn 3. So for turns 1 and 2, it's just me versus these poor Lithuanians. So I'm going crazy. I'm just shoving clear across these fields as fast as I can go. It did cost me a couple platoons of T-90s. However, again, I'm now like completely investing. I'll go ahead and zoom in a little bit so we can see what's going on here a little. Also, show off this map and these awesome counters. Yet every map here on the Sitrep Podcast is custom. We never use the same map twice. And the counters, I always have to make at least some counters because we're always trying something new. which means new armies, new forces, new periods, new conflicts, new orders of battle, etc. But here we have one platoon of mechanized infantry. His APCs left. They're now down here. Because they're like hanging around for that. They can't run fast enough, so, they're now surrounded by 30 tanks. 35 tanks make that 40 tanks, but 5 of them are pinned down right now. Yeah, you're talking about 40 guys surrounded by 40 T-90As. They're pretty much done. But they're holding an objective hex, so their orders are to stand fast. But, spoiler alert, they don't last very long. But they're basically costing the Russians as a turn. I have to take that hex. It's an objective hex. Otherwise, trust me, I would just bypass it. Another big objective hex is right up in here. The Lithuanians are obviously going to be able to hold a little bit better here. They called in some mortars. Ahead, there are their mortars. Ahead of an expected mass cat attack, close assault tactics, by Russian 2nd Motorized Battalion, 138th Guards Mortar Rifle Brigade. Unfortunately, the mortars were spotted by the Russian drones. We'll go over how drones work. And therefore, I'm going to be calling in some rockets from my Grads onto his mortars. His mortars are going to get at least one shot at my infantry as they come in to try and take this objective hex. You guys have seen these games before. There's a lot of spot, counter spot, feint, counter feint. It's like, 5 or 6 chess games going on at once. So there's the Russians on turn 1. Some other good news that happened for the Lithuanians. I got a little bold with my airborne assault guys. They pretty much just, 3 counters, so that's 6 helicopters. 6 Hind gunships just came hauling ass down this highway. Thundering close over the tree tops. They dropped 2 platoons of those VDV air assault guys on this other objective hex, so I took that one on the fly, literally. However, fortune does not always favor the bold. These American-made Stingers, we all know what Stingers do to Hinds. If you don't know, ask the Mujahideen in Afghanistan. They knocked down one of those Hinds, and of course there was a platoon of elite VDV airborne assault guardsmen in there. That was an expensive loss. Those infantry do not grow on trees, even in the Russian army. So that was pretty much turn 1. Turn 2. It's getting really bad for the Lithuanians. I've completely caved in the Lithuanians here in this little town, and using split move and fire, those relatively fast T-90s haul ass down here. They link up with those surviving Russian airborne assault guys. It's a Russian version of a bridge too far. Can the tanks reach the all-important city hexes with the paratroopers in there fast enough? In this case, they did. Meanwhile, my Hind gunships were trying to suppress those Stingers. I managed to pin them down. On turn 3, my tanks finished the job, so I finally knocked down the Lithuanian air defense. Otherwise, I was going to be losing even more Hind gunships. Was not looking forward to that. Up here, these guys, holy crap. These Lithuanians and these Russians, I don't know what they're doing. They're like reenacting the Battle of Lake Peipus up here, man. It's assault and then counter-assault and counter-assault, opportunity fire, incoming mortar barrages. We have Russian heavy weapon sections with those AGS-17 automatic grenade launchers. They're not here anymore, so you can't tell, but there's a lot of counters missing. Okay, let me just put it that way. Again, the reason both sides are so adamant about taking this is there is an objective hex here. So you can kind of predict where the battle's going to go. The Lithuanians are making a brave stand, but they are losing. Up here on the northern ground, I've taken out their light anti-tank team. I've taken out their Mavericks. Their Javelins. And now the Russians are caving in this north flank. Now they have high ground in woods overlooking the objective hex. Russian tanks have caved in the southern wing. They're buckling in the center. Yeah, these Lithuanians are not long for this world. They tell you what though, they gave the Russians one hell of a bloody nose. Turn 3, the Russians have consolidated their position here in this town with the objective hex on it. I've put some tanks as far southwest as I could, because in these blue hexes is where the Poles are going to be making their advance, and I wanted to overlook their entry hexes and pretty much spawn camp them in video game language, kill them as they came on the table. I didn't really make it. My Hinds, of course, are a lot faster. My Hinds are maybe going to take out some NATO tanks as they come on the table. What else is going on here? Oh, Lithuanian infantry have shot down the Russian drone. The Russian Grads have taken out the Lithuanian mortars. Russian tanks have taken out Lithuanian air defense. Yeah, both sides are pretty much trading units at a pretty horrific rate. But we are now pretty much 2/3 the way through turn 3. And I'm going to give the mic over to my friend Dylan, and Dylan's going to bring his reinforcements on the table. So, Mr. Dylan, it's time for you to complete your turn 3. We're now in the movement phase. We've done some of your turn 3 already. We pretty much finished up with your Lithuanians. It's now the movement phase of turn 3. 3rd Battalion, 9th Armored Cavalry Brigade of 16th Polish Mechanized Infantry Division is entering the table. So, and anywhere in any of these blue hexes, with these blue bands on them, you get to enter in through. While I check Mr. Chat. Ooh, the Hobby Lodge has joined us. Hello, Martin. I know it's super late where you are. I hope everyone has done well in rugby. I think he usually takes his sons to play rugby on Sunday. Walkabout Game says, tanks in built-up areas are always in trouble without infantry. Yeah. Notice I sent my Russian tanks down here across these empty rolling fields, and I sent my motorized infantry into the town with Grad support for rockets, and yeah. Panzer Leader will teach you very, very quickly. Always try to use the right tool for the right job. So, sorry about all that. It's now your turn down here in the southwest. Bring on your Polish armor.
Okay, well, I'm going to start with the flying tanks.
Hey, here we go. Okay, where would you like them to go?
I think I'll bring them on at 0014.
Okay. Now they trigger opportunity fire once they move a quarter of their movement. So be warned. There are Soviet, I keep calling them Soviet. They might as well be Soviet the way they're invading the Baltic States like this. There are Russian Hinds in the air, and there is a Russian manpad system lurking back here with a range of 30, which is pretty much the whole table. So that's their entry hex. They've so far moved 1 hex. They have a movement of 30. A quarter of 30, round up as 8, so they can move 8 before they trigger opportunity fire.
I'll only move them to 0613.
Alrighty. I assume now they're going to fire?
Yes. Yeah.
Helicopters, guys, are about the only units that are allowed to do this. Move and fire in the same turn. Or I should say, fire after moving. Okay, so, I'm assuming we are engaging the Hinds, or are we engaging... You can't see these tanks. You can see these tanks, if you want.
I'll go for the Hinds. I'm a bit scared of their anti-tank missiles.
Okay, yeah, each... you'll notice on the chart, they're basically identical. The only difference between these two counters is the silhouette is facing opposite directions. And the Russians are wearing historically accurate Russian camouflage, and so are the Poles. Okay, so you've got 16, that's your automatic cannon. That does not divide, that's the star. And then it also carries the G, that's the guided missile, that's the anti-tank guided missile. That's going to be a 50-point AT-5 spandrel strike. Again, the Soviets, there I go again. The Russians do the same thing. Okay, so you've got 2 16s at the moment. I'm assuming you're shooting both 16s?
Yes, yeah, I don't want to waste the missiles.
Alright, cool.
So.
Oh man, alright, so that's going to be, again, helicopters weren't really made to shoot down other helicopters, but I do get what you're going for here. So that's 16 and 16 is 32 versus 18, that is a sloppy 1-to-1.
Okay, let's see what I can do.
If it was ever a time to roll a 1, it's now.
A 2.
So close. A 2 on 1-to-1 is a double dispersal. So you can't really pin down a helicopter, but the helicopter is disordered. It's damaged, it's smoking, the pilot's panicked, who knows what. Okay, and now let's continue with your movement phase.
Okay, so the first 3 tanks.
Alright, are these the Leopards or the...
The Leopards, yeah.
Okay, cool. 3 platoons of Leopards plus their command element, 14 in all.
So So I'll bring them on as 2 lots of 2.
Alrighty.
And the first one will come on 0117 on the train line there.
Okay, so let me get these other guys out of the way. I'm assuming this is like 2nd and 3rd platoon, your 2 full platoons?
Yep.
Alright. These are absurdly powerful units. They're not invincible, especially against this many Russian tanks. But they are nothing to mess with.
So they'll move to 0218, 0317, 0417.
Alright. So 1, 2, 3, 4. They have 10 movement points left. Oh, I see what you did. Okay, so he moved a quarter of his movement. 14 is their base movement. That's the number at the lower right. And now you notice he's immediately behind cover, 516. The anti-tank missiles aboard the undisordered Hind cannot take opportunity fire. Opportunity fire is not simultaneous. You have to have at least some movement, some time in enemy line of sight to do that. And the way the game measures that is 1/4 of the unit's movement rate. So just as I was about to get tone on my AT-5s, you ducked behind those trees. That was well done. One more hex in my line of sight and you would have been hit with a 50-point missile strike, which still isn't great. It still isn't all 50. Before anyone gets too crazed out, oh no, Excel, don't blow up on me. A 50-point missile strike would be applied against 34. That's 1-to-1. Star for Chobham armor. Subtract 1 from the die roll for for non-kinetic weapons like heat weapons like AT-5s. It's subtract 1. I literally can't kill you with 1 spandrel strike. And those leopards are badass. They are absurdly survivable. Not 100%. Not up against a whole reinforced battalion of Russian T-90As. But pretty close.
And for the rest of the move,
Alrighty.
I'll go 0517, 0617.
Okay.
And then
My Hinds are watching closely. Okay, definitely couldn't see you there. You went into the bushes. You said 517, right?
Yep.
I could see you there. I could see you there. So far. Oh, I'm blocked again by 716. I saw you for a split second. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 movement points. You got 8 movement points left.
And then 0717. Those trees down that hill.
He's being bold. Point blank range with 2 Russian tanks. He may need some support.
Hmm.
Right now, well, you're in trees, right? That's a tree hex?
Yep.
Okay, so I can't overrun you there. So you just be taking point blank fire. These hexes all screen you from Russian stuff. Here's the crazy thing, I actually can't see you now. Oh, wait. Yes, I can. That other Hind can't see you now.
Yep.
So you take a 50-point spandrel strike plus point blank T-90As. Those both double. Those are 96 apiece. So 96 times 2. Just so you know what you got those guys into. 192 divided by 34. That's a 5-to-1 attack.
Ooh.
I do not subtract 1 because the kinetic penetrator rods don't care about your Chobham armor. And I do have to add 1 to my for trees. So a 1 or a 4 kills a platoon. 1 through a 4 kills a platoon. 5 or 6 spins them.
Yep. Okay.
So it's a move. I get it. I would just make, if with this kind of move and Panzer Leader, it's kind of, in for a penny, in for a pound kind of thing. If you're gonna go for it, go for it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go for this one.
Okay. Now that means that you're 2 out of 3. You're gonna lose one of those platoons, and then you're gonna have 1 platoon left to return fire with, and then in order to lose one of your 3 most powerful units, you better make it worth it. In other words, send more up there.
Yep.
Don't send them up there by themselves. Hello, Christopher Moody. Oh my god. Oh my god, our YouTube channel is blowing up. Spotting rules make it a mathematical equation, less a game. I don't agree with you, Corporal Bite. I'm sorry. Modern Command Operations is a very massive PC naval war game. Okay, cool. Nice. Actually, I'm a squad leader player. Okay, wait a minute. You call Panzer Leader too much of a mathematical game, but you play Panzer Leader? Or you play a squad leader? That literally doesn't make sense. I sound like a rules lawyer to me. Well, that's because I know the rules to the game I'm playing. Hello, Christopher Moody again, and now my kid is crying. Oh no! You have to watch the replay. No worries, Christopher Moody. We'll catch you when you come back. I appreciate you coming out. Walkabout Games on Twitch says, Panzer Leader was my first hex game with my father in 1982. My father was watching for a bit and then had to run. Oh, your father was actually watching our stream. Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, this is Panzer Leader a lot later in the game's evolution. What we're really kind of playing here is Arab Israeli Wars blended with Tactical Command Middle East by Toshash Miniatures. Okay. So, where are these other leopards going to move?
They're going to follow the same path up to 0417. So.
Okay. And then where from there?
Uh, 0716.
Oops. Cool. Okay, then you have Polish armor, which, although formidable, is not nearly as good.
Yep.
It's about as good as the Russian stuff. Basically, so the Russians have T-90s, and your T-72s are upgraded until they're pretty much the same as a T-90. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're right. All good. These guys, oh, that's right. These guys here are going to go. They're going to come on at. I'm rethinking myself, but they'll come on at 00117 as well on that train track.
Yep.
And they'll move to 0814. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
All right, just to kind of get something going, kind of fire off my missiles. So he sees these guys coming right down the track. They're coming right towards him. I'm going to go ahead and loose my my one strike only of AT-5s. That's a 50-point strike versus 22. 2-to-1 odds. However, they also have reactive armor blocks on them. That's the star after the defense factor. That's going to knock me down to, I have to basically add 1 to my roll on 2-to-1. So now what I need is a 1 to kill. Let's see what happens. A 5 becomes a 6. He totally whiffed it. Oh, that's not right. Oh no, why? We're off and running, guys. I'm typical Oriskany dice rolling. For crying out loud. Give me 2 seconds, guys. I just want to very quickly, what? Just so I can remember which ones have fired their missiles and which ones haven't. Okay. Alright, that's it for that. Alright, I'll go ahead with the rest of your movement, please.
Cool. And then the other 2 units of tanks down there. We'll move up to 0913, where that hind is.
Okay, so cool. He's pretty much under the hind. The Hinds, I should say. There's 2 Hinds and 6 tanks in that hex. That's a that's the box art for our game expansion right there. Alrighty. Alright, and then you can come on in any order. Yeah, you guys probably see some American units down there in the bottom. Those guys may or may not come on depending on how the game shakes out. If I have, as I sometimes do, screwed up the balance of the scenario, surprise reinforcements may arrive from this U.S. Army base. Where are we at here? This U.S. Army base here. I'm maybe going to try and pronounce that. Or is it? I guess I will try to pronounce it. This is why Piotr should be on this stream. Piotr should be helping us out with some of this Polish. Okay, so all your mechanized infantry and your predator, not your predator drone, your surveillance drone now arrive.
Okay, that mechanized infantry is going to pretty much just haul it down that train line as well.
Make things easier myself for just a second.
Yep.
Cool. Alright, so they're loaded up. I'm assuming 1, 2, 3, 4. The train track does not count as a road, so you don't get double movement.
Yep.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. At 9, they can stop and unload. If they want to stay loaded, they can keep going.
Yeah, they're going to stay loaded.
Okay.
And they're going to move to 0, 1, 1, 0. Top of that hill there.
1,
Oh, sorry, 1, 1, 0. 1, 1, 0. Sorry. Yep.
Oh, he's trying to relieve the Lithuanians. Okay. All right. I think I hit Control C one time too many. There's supposed to be 3 of those platoons, right?
Yep.
Cool. Okay, the other 2, are they going to wind up in the same general area, or?
Yep, so they'll, yeah, 10,
are
10,
they just going to drive
11.
past the Lithuanian commander and make him feel better?
Yeah, so they'll just be in 10, 10, and then 10, 11. So just sort of sitting on that hill.
The Lithuanian-Polish Commonwealth has been reestablished, apparently. Okay, then we have yet another one of those Wolverines. The Polish military, at least their army, is in a pretty interesting place, technology-wise, equipment-wise. Are you kidding me, machine? Sorry about that. I'll start that over. The Polish army is in a pretty interesting place. Obviously, they had all Soviet stuff up until 1991 or whatever, when the Warsaw Pact really started to fall apart. Of course, the wall came down in '89, but the Soviet Union didn't fall until 91, 92. So until then, they had all Soviet stuff. They haven't gotten any Soviet stuff since then. So the Soviet stuff they have is really old. The Polish economy has, tried to come back after the Cold War. And now they're buying a lot of neat stuff, like, again, Leopard 2s. They're coming out with M1s pretty soon. So they have this beautiful mix of cutting-edge NATO, Israeli, which isn't NATO, but Western stuff, I'll say that. Israeli, German, American, like kick-ass stuff, and this old Russian junk that even the Russian army doesn't use anymore. And the SAMs is one of the examples. I mean, it's still a 30, but it's not the greatest. Come on, Excel, do not freeze on me. Excel, if you embarrass me like this, I will rage. Okay, so here we go. Your man pads finally. Now that I'm done babbling, and now that Excel is done freaking out, where do you want your man pads to go?
Okay, these guys didn't want to be close to Hinds.
Want to be close to Hinds, and they have to be unloaded to fire.
Yep. Well, in that case, We're at 18, so 1, 2.
Yeah, they can move 9 and still unload.
So they'll come on from.
Go ahead.
Come on from 0113.
Gotcha. That's
Move
1.
through the gap in the trees there to that little village.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Technically 6.5. And no, I'm gonna blow up some leopards. I saw you through this gap. Also, I wouldn't have seen you for long enough. Okay, and then he spends half of his movement to, I'm assuming, to unload.
Yep.
Cool. Alright, then you just have your surveillance drone and your commander.
The headquarters will just go up on the hill with everyone else.
His Humvee. Oy.
He'll, well, he might as well join the
Lithuanian commander.
Lithuanian commander. So.
What's going on, my brother? These Russians, man, they don't look like they're going to stop till they hit Berlin. We better do something about it. Alright.
And the drone.
Yeah, so the drone, okay, so the way the drone works is he can attempt once per fire phase. First of all, he can see whatever, like the normal spotting rules.
Yep.
So he can fly around wherever and spot a bunch of stuff. You don't have that much indirect stuff, so that doesn't really matter too much. In fact, you don't have any indirect fire stuff. But what they can do is, if they're within 12 hexes, they can make a roll. Within 12 hexes of a potential enemy target that is not spotted under cover. In bushes, or I should say in foliage, in towns, etc. And if he is, if you roll a 4 or less, that target is now spotted to all units on the battlefield. So he pings a laser off the target, and it downloads that telemetry via satellite to all your target acquisition systems and all your stuff. So he's great at spotting targets, is the short answer. He is vulnerable to ground fire, and he is vulnerable to SAMs, so keep an eye out for that.
Yep. In that case, I'll leave him at 0216, just for now.
Okay. Alright, so that completes the Polish movement phase, which completes NATO turn 3, really. I will check out Mr. Chat. Alright, chat seems to have calmed down a little bit now. Yeah, Walkabout Games, we're trying Poles and Lithuanians. That's not often you see those kind of armies on a gaming table. We all, Team Yankee, Soviets versus Americans, Germans versus Soviets, British versus Soviets. We've seen it all a million times. Unlike Team Yankee, this war could technically happen. It's very, very, very unlikely that it would happen above board, on an open battlefield like this. And yeah, we get to play with some different armies. Although we're playing with Leopard 2s anyway, we might as well be playing Team Yankee, to be honest. Excuse me, to be honest. Alright, turn 4. The Russians. It is now our turn, one more time. Okay, Buttercup, here we come. Get ready. The Russians are here. They're pissed off. It's time for them to start kicking some heads. Just caving in some heads. I'm losing my voice, even more so than usual. Okay, so we begin with set up new fire phase for indirect weapons. That will not happen because, again, my Grad takes 2 turns to reload. So I will not have a fire phase next turn. So we can skip that part. Part 2 of the turn sequence is resolving old missions. So I had to call this in last turn. Boom, here it comes. That's going to be 28 points versus everything in here that is non-armored. Okay, everything in there is armored except for the mechanized infantry. So that 28 attacks versus 7, make that 12 because you are in concrete buildings. Concrete buildings gives you a +5 defense. So now it's 28 versus 12, 2 to 1, add 1 to the die roll. Come on, get in the box. A 4 becomes a 5. That is dispersed. Okay, now divide all that in half because high explosive weapons against armored targets. So now it is 14 versus 6, except they also get the +5 bonus. 14 versus 11. That's going to be 2 more attacks at 1-to-1, add 1 to the die roll for both of those wolves. Or wolves, I should say. Oh my god, my dice rolling. What the hell? No effect, and 5 on 1-to-1 is, I think, no effect. Yeah, adjusted 5 is no effect. So that was a big whiff. And again, he's reloading next turn. That concludes the Russian artillery phase. Russian direct fire phase. Oh, okay, here we go. I'll start from the north and work my way down. Oh, goody gumdrops. Now it's time to get serious. Okay, number 1, I've got these two. They're going to fire point blank into these armored vehicles. 8 and 8, A-class weapons at point blank range, double to 16. So I got 32 points versus 6 versus 11 because you're in concrete buildings. Oh my god, are you for real? 32 versus 11, that is just short of 3-to-1.
It's 1 point off, yeah.
Okay, I'll take it at 2-to-1. I have to add 1 to for buildings. Maybe I'll roll a 1. 4 becomes a 5, he is dispersed. That's okay, that's going to make my close assault a little easier. Okay, these guys... Notice I didn't put that fire into this hex because there's a blocks line of sight by these trees. So instead, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2... Can't do that one because he's pinned down. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, all double. 24 double to 48. I'm going to engage that JTLV. That's a bit of overkill.
That's a 12-to-1.
Yeah, that's a bit of... Well, you have to add 5 because he's also in concrete buildings. So I'll put just these two. That's, again, 32 against 9. Damn it, I just missed it again. 32 against 9 is just short of 5-to-1. Or just short of 4-to-1. The Humvee is not armored. The JTLV is armored. So that's, hold on, 4 8s basically is 32. Divided by 9 is a sloppy 3-to-1. Okay, I'll take it. Have to add 1 to the die roll. 2 becomes a 3. The buildings saved him. If it wasn't for the buildings, he'd be destroyed. But he is pinned down, barely. Now that last BTR-82 is going to go ahead and put his 8. He does not double because he's not shooting at an armor target. 8 versus 9, 1-to-2 odds. Add 1 to the die roll. 2 becomes 5, no effect. That was rather wasteful. Okay, now we're going to put a whole ton of fire into this hex before we assault it. So that's going to be 8, 8, and 8. Notice the A star, that means they do not divide versus soft targets. Basically dual purpose ammunition. So that's 24. This hex is a tough nut to crack though. 24 versus 11. I'm going to take a 2-to-1 on that pinned down unit. Again, I have to add 5 to the defense factor, so it's 6 plus 5 is 11. 24 versus 11. Finally. He's toast. That's going to make my overall odds here a lot easier. Alright, so I'll come back and I'll handle all the... Well, let's just go ahead and wrap up this battle. Because the battles, the whole game is starting to break into several different smaller battles. So let me just wrap this up. 1, 2. When he moved, did you want to take any opportunity fire against him?
Yes. Yep.
Alright, so you got a heavy weapons team in there. He's worth 8, except, oh, he's an H-class weapon, which means he doubles versus soft targets at less than half range. He's at less than half range. He's actually worth 16. That's basically all your grenade launchers, your Carl Gustavs, stuff like that. So basically you have 3 8s in here. 16 plus 8 is 24 versus 7. That is 3-to-1 odds.
Okay, I'll take that.
Yep.
A 1.
He's killed.
Ooh.
Destroyed. Alright, so that's destroyed. That's destroyed. Oh, yeah, that's right. Cool. So, yeah, we're already losing some pretty heavy carnage here. I'm going to go ahead and repeat this assault. I think I'll go ahead and hit him with all these units. That's 20, not quite 28, 27 versus 13 plus 5. It's still 1-to-1. Okay, then I will attack him with, okay, so you have a total of 18 points in there, 13 plus 5 for the town. So I want to hit 18. 7, 6, and this 7 are going to close assault. This 7 is going to close assault down here. Alright, so I have a grand total of, 7, 10, and 7 is... That A is a misprint, that should be an H. Same as your heavy weapons team. 7, 10, and 7 is 24. Versus 13 versus 18. Okay, 1-to-1. Subtract 2 from the die roll for my cat attack. Add 1 to the die roll for the town. Becomes 1-to-1. Subtract 1 from the die roll. Come on, do it, do it! 3 becomes a 2 on 1-to-1. They barely survived. Wait a minute. Yeah, -1. They did survive. Damn you. 7 versus 10, 15 equals 1-to-3. Subtract 1 from the die roll. Perhaps subtract 2 from the die roll versus that pinned down guy. Oh, 5. That's going to be nothing anyway. So 5 becomes a 4. The 4 becomes a 3 on the dispersed guy. That's nothing additional, not on the 1-to-3 column. Alright, I pretty much got stalled on that one. That sucked. Fortunately, I had reinforcements coming. And these guys are tanked. Cool, worry about them later. Alright, moving south. Okay, first, direct fire. I'm going to do it, man. Here it comes. 96 total points against your command element. Because he's got a lower defense factor. There's only 2 tanks there instead of 3 tanks. Or, I'm sorry, instead of 4 tanks. So it's going to be 96 versus 22. That is a 4-to-1. And he's in the open, no less. So one Russian tank platoon, 48 doubles at point blank range, 96 versus 22, no star bonus for travel armor. That's going to be 4-to-1 versus the commander and XO of that German tank or of that Polish tank company. 3, he smoked. I get to put a NATO wreck counter on the board. That makes me laugh in Russian. Slava Russia! Okay, now this other guy...
That's a Russian wreck counter.
No, that's NATO wreck counter.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, the Russian wreck counters are in red.
Oh, sorry, I saw the orange one down there, and
Oh, yeah, well, I was gonna have, like this is technically British. It's like British tan or whatever.
No,
but, yeah. So he smoked. Okay, cool. So now the other guy is going to fire his 96 versus 34, which is not quite 3-to-1, I think. No, it couldn't be. It's going to be an ugly 2-to-1. He's going to fire at that same tank. Or I should say the other tank platoon in the same hex. A 6 on 2 is a whiff. I said 2-to-1, right?
Nice.
Alright, yeah, because you know what's going to happen now.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not. Well, covered. He might take opportunity fire, but if he does, he uses up his anti-tank missiles. So let's go for it. Let me finish up my fire phase. Any other fire phase? No other fire phase. I go down to movement. 1, 2. Opportunity fire or face overrun?
Yeah, 2 anti-tank missiles, 1 in each.
Okay. Also, the tank gets the... whoa. Yes. Because I'm declaring an overrun, even though I haven't moved a quarter of my movement, you're still eligible for opportunity fire. That's why we... I always forget I have to explain some of the rules to people in the chat. Okay, so both of these Hinds are going to fire off their one and only
Yep.
missile strike. Okay, cool. And I won't bother changing their color then. That is 50 plus 50 is 100. You do have,
So I'll do
however,
one into each tank. So.
Okay, you have to add 1. Okay, a couple things. You have to add 1 to the die roll because of reactive armor, and you have to add 1 to the die roll because I'm technically still in a Woods Hex. So
Okay.
So putting 1 missile strike into 1 tank is only 2 to 1, and you have to add 2 to the result. You can't kill me.
Okay, yeah, that's not good. I'll do 2 into 1 tank then.
All right, now that's 100 to 24. That's 4 to 1. You have to add 2 to the die roll.
A 2.
He is smoked.
Ooh.
Yeah, now it's getting serious. Where did I put that? Oh, here he is. I put him, just to make sure that we don't accidentally think there are units there, I always put them within 3 hexes. That's like clue that they've been blown between universes. They're like between spaces. They've been blown into a quantum realm. Okay, so he's smoked, and Russian Red Counter. Okay, cool. Now you're about to be overrun. This guy has no line of sight. No line of sight, no line of sight. The ridge blocks him. Nobody else has line of sight except the guy himself. Mr. Polish unit there, ironically in his German tank, is now gonna, I'm assuming, taking point-blank opportunity fire.
Yes. Yep.
Okay, cool. That is going to be 112 versus 24. Because your shit doubles at point-blank range, obviously. You do have to add 1 to the die roll because I'm in woods. 112 divided by 24. 4 to 1 odds, you have to add 1 to the die roll. I could survive this.
A 3.
Not with a 3, I can't. Now, ominously, that is opportunity fire. So that guy cannot fire. Again, he also cannot fire during your turn. Which means when the rest of my Russian tanks decide to come charging, this guy fired, that guy fired, so okay, we're done with that. Those other 2 guys moved, and that didn't work. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh God, help me. 10, 11. No opportunity fire. I was not. Now I can't overrun you, or can I? I think I can do this without drawing opportunity fire. So I have to spend 1/4 of my movement in your line of sight. This hex blocks you until I cross this line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I can do that, except now I'm adjacent to you, and these 2 can take opportunity fire if they want.
Which they will. Yep, 1 into each.
Damn it. Hold on, before I commit to that, can I send anybody else in there? Yes. Okay, 1 into each. That is going to be 2 more 4 to 1s. Subtract nothing from the die roll because I'm not in woods.
Okay. A 1 and a 3.
Triple check that. 112, 56 times 2. Divide that by 24. Yeah, 4 to 1. Those are 2 more smoke Russian tanks. There is a method to my madness, everyone, trust me. Because now, everyone, all these Germans have now fired. Damn it. This is one of those times where if you're going to commit, commit. You have to... When you attack, you must commit yourself totally. You must hold nothing back. That's my terrible Martin Sheen impression. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10, 11, 12, 13. No, shit. That may not have worked after all. I can overrun with 1. I can only overrun with 1 because there's 2 red counters in there. Red counters do count for sacking purposes. Oh no! I may have just pissed away half my tanks for no reason. Apologies. Oh god. 48 versus 34 is 1 to 1, becomes 2 to 1, subtract 2 from the die roll. I kill you on a 1, 2, 3, or a 4. Oh, sorry, that's a 3. So he is smoked on an overrun attack. That cost me 4 tank platoons to kill basically 1.5 tank platoons of yours. But that's what happens when you play the Russians. Soldiering has one great trap, General. To be a good soldier, you must love the army. To be a good commander, you must be prepared to order the death of the thing you love. And there is the great trap, General. Because all my tanks are now burning. Except General Lee never said that.
No, it's just another Martin Sheen reference for the folks out there.
Oh my god, I don't know if you saw my American Revolution video recently. The British made one just absolutely ungodly bayonet charge, and I so wanted to put in I wanted to put in Chamberlain's bayonet scream from Little Round Top, but it was like the wrong war, and I was like, oh my god, dude, if this was an American Civil War movie. They went right through point blank Patriot musket fire, didn't take any losses because the Americans just whiffed the roll. And then they slaughtered like all the Americans. It was the most absurd bayonet charge you've ever seen. Oh my god, what a bloodbath. Alright, I weakened myself pretty badly down there. But hopefully I've blunted those leopards. Those leopards scare me. Okay, I'm now... Is that an objective X? Yeah, so I'll leave that alone for now. These guys all fired. Okay, I think that is going to be it for the Russian turn. I'm going to try to rally my Hinds. Remember to turn on the camera this time. Come on, dice. I did it again. 2, he does rally. That will wrap up Russian turn. Oh, I also have to try to rally this IFV section up here. 3, he does make it. Everyone in the chat, it's morale B, so we rally on a 1 or a 1 through a 4. These guys are also destroyed. Tell you what, man, we're shoveling counters off the table. It's getting bloody quick. I know that's what...
Yeah, I'm surprised those Lithuanians are still around.
Yeah, well, the street battle, it's a little mini Stalingrad in there. It's a little mini Stalingrad in there. I got some bad rolls up there, too. If you start dropping some, notice almost everyone in there is pinned down. So you basically have no, not only is it like who has more units or who has who surrounded or things like that, it's who's pinned down. None of my guys are pinned down. All your guys, or not all, most of your guys are pinned down. So most of your attack phase is going to be trying to rally. then it's my turn again. I pin you down again. I basically have Panzer Leader's version of fire superiority here. This battle is kind of lost for the Lithuanians. It's just how long they can drag it out. I wouldn't bother with it because who cares, but again, it's an objective X. The colonel says I have to take that X. So, welcome to the Russian army, comrade. Okay, we now begin with... I'll check out Mr. Chat, and then we will check out... I never fired my other Heinz. He fired... I never fired him, or did I?
No, he was pinned down.
That's right, never mind. Thank you. Sorry. Yeah, I'm done with my turn. We'll begin NATO turn 4 as I check out the chat. You must attack... Oh, see, now Ben has joined the chat. Brother Ben. He has jumped from Martin Sheen to Nick Nolte. So that's always a good move. Nick Nolte is greater than Martin Sheen, especially in a thin red line. I see your first platoon over there, too, sitting on their fat asses. You get a man over there with orders to attack. You attack right now with every man at your disposal. Holy crap, Bills 40, Texans 0. Good grief. The Bills have stomped. The Bills are kicking ass even worse than LSR's polls so far. Okay, cool. Sound is still good. Okay, cool. Thanks, being a science teacher. Yeah, the only thing that's running slow is my webcam. The stream is steady. The computer is steady. Excel's giving me a little bit of an issue. I think my PC is overloaded. You know what? Let me try one thing. Sometimes Chrome causes me an issue. So Chrome is now, in fact, shut down. Alright. Hopefully that will speed things up a little bit. Okay, it's your turn. We begin with, again, there's no real NATO artillery on the table, so we're going to begin with NATO direct fire.
Okay, don't think I really have much.
Got
the helicopters, I suppose.
Oh yeah, I never moved my damn helicopters. I should have moved them.
Do you want to?
It's way too late. It's way too late. No. One fired and the other one rallied. They get to use split movement fire. They get to use 15 of their movement. Even if they start... they get to move 15. As I start to fall back, they're just going to take opportunity fire. Yeah, let's go back and... Alright, so we're still in the Russian turn. 1, 2... Or no, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and now they've spent a quarter of their movement. So at least I've managed to back off a little bit from this range. I'm now out of range of this. However, I'm not in range of your man-pads. I'm not that afraid of those guys, though. They're old 1980s missiles. However, these guys can fire also if they want. But that would be their fire phase. So it's like any other anti-aircraft detection, like any other opportunity fire.
Okay.
So it's up to you.
Well, the SAM is definitely going to fire. Yeah.
All right, so that's 30 versus 18. That's not great. So if you want to maybe throw more fire in there, they can.
Yep. And I'll throw all the other APC fire into it as well.
Okay, I think that's 30 more points. That's just a lot of chain guns. So it's going to be 60 points versus 18.
So 3-1.
Yep. You always round down.
Yep. A 3.
That's just enough. That's just enough.
Oh, nice.
I know they're not really considered armored targets, but I always put a wreck counter on the map for a crashed aircraft. Because, number one, cool. And number two, aircraft are freaking huge, man, compared to tanks. So an aircraft crash site is going to make a big mess. It's going to clog up a hex to a certain degree. But for anyone in the chat, that's the reason I'm doing that. Okay, so that was quite a bit of opportunity fire. Let's track that. Those guys are dead. We don't have to worry about them. And that also means that he's spotted, because he fired from undercover. Alright. Okay, now we're on your turn. Sorry about that.
All good. Let me see. So my hinds are going to they're going to move into.
Are you declaring no more fire? I mean, we let's keep the turn sequence together if we
Oh
could.
yeah. No, I haven't got any more direct fire. I've got
not much, to be honest. I think
Yeah.
you're right. No, your tanks. We'll see if now. I know these are kind of new,
here.
but these guys could have like headed up here, made a spotting check, maybe spotted. Oh, the building hex. You're right. The building hex would have blocked them anyway. Never mind.
Yeah, but I see what you mean. You could use that to spot and then.
Ooh, as long as we're putting on spotted counters, technically, because your poles are now to the point where they couldn't engage. They were spotted because they've been firing into your Humvees and so on up here.
Yeah.
Alright, so let's wrap up your fire phase super quick. You do have a 50 cal on top of these Humvees. I doubt they can do much, but they do get to do something if they want. 4
cool.
versus 8,
it'll
that's
fire
1 to
in.
2. You never know.
Yep. A 6.
Nothing. So that's okay. If there was ever going to be a 6, now's the time, because this roll wouldn't really matter very much. Where you don't want to roll 6s down in that point blank nose-to-nose slap fest between the Leopard 2s and the T-90s. That's a bad time to roll a 6. Up here, we're doing what we talked about on this week's podcast, like the hopeless battle. You know, just how long can you make it last?
Yep.
All right, cool. So he's fired. This guy, JTLV, has 50 cals and Mark 19s. He's got 6 points. Now he can fire 6 points into maybe a heavy weapons section at 1 to 1.
Yep.
You have to add 1 to your roll.
Are they in buildings there, that heavy weapons section?
Yeah, they're in wooden buildings, so they don't... Okay, so wooden buildings have the tan color. Concrete buildings have the gray color. The only difference is they both add 1 to the dice when you attack somebody in the hex, and they block line of sight, and you have to spot and all that stuff. However, the concrete buildings add 5 to your defense roll. The wooden buildings don't. So that's why I suggested it. He's got 6 I-class weapons versus 6 infantry points. It's 1 to 1. It's probably your best roll. You just have to add 1 because he is in wooden buildings.
Cool.
He's got concealment, not cover, basically.
A 4.
4 becomes a 5. That has no effect on 1 to 1.
Yeah.
Now, the other part of the attack phase is we just rally all these guys.
Yep.
So everyone needs a 1 through a 4.
5.
Nope. This guy.
And then the 2 infantry. 5 and a 3.
This guy does. That guy doesn't. Okay, this last vehicle here.
A 1.
He does rally. Okay, these units down here. Does he try to rally?
A 2.
Okay, and down here to this part of the fire phase. Not a lot. These guys are pretty much out of reach.
Yep.
We'll worry about whether or not they dismount or not in the movement phase. He's already fired. He doesn't have any targets. Your hinds can either fire now or after they move. Everybody else has to fire now. He took opportunity fire. They don't really have any targets. Okay, let's go to your movement phase.
Cool. We'll start with the hinds.
Okay.
So they'll move into 0, 6, 1, 6. Sorry, 0. Yeah, 0, 7, 1, 5.
Do you need me to move something? Okay.
Yep.
Okay, they did move, but not fast enough for me to trigger my man pads.
Yep.
From way the hell over there. So I'll have to shoot during my movement phase, or during my attack phase, which means that these guys get to shoot. Now they have fired off their missiles, So they're done with that. However, they do get that 16A class attack all game long.
Nice. So they're going to fire into the two Russian tanks in the trees there on the ridge.
All right. So what they would do in that case is they would like move to something like that.
Okay.
Because from there they technically don't have line of sight.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
All right. Awesome. So you got 32. Actually, that still doubles. Because they're still A-class weapons. Oh man. Yeah, they're A-class weapons. The only thing that star means is that they don't have versus autocannon are nasty. That's why everyone in the world carries autocannon nowadays. So he has like a selector switch in the cockpit. He switches from like HE frag or HE flechette. Well, he wouldn't have frag in a little 23mm cannon. He switched from HE incendiary or whatever to APC, armor piercing core, and he starts firing just tungsten. So that's going to be 2 16s, double to 64. 64 versus 24 is still only 2 to 1, and you have to add 1 to the die roll.
Okay.
Because I'm in the woods. Right? 4 16s is 64. 24, that's a sloppy 2 to 1. 72 is 3 to 1. Okay. Yeah. Cool. 2 to 1, you have to add 1 to the die roll. Or do you want to engage just 1 down here? You don't have to add 1 to the die roll.
No, it's alright. I'll go for those ones there. I rolled a 3.
3 becomes a 4. He is disordered. And Vorpal Bite is back. Hello, sir. Many red counters. That's awesome. Yeah, I got a little ballsy with my Russians. That's not a bad trade when you're playing the Russians. 2 for 1 against Leopard 2s.
That's pretty good.
Ben, here you go. This is just for Ben. How's that for a counter? Oh my God! And that doubles to within 10 hexes. That doubles. Within 10 hexes, that dude chucks out 112 points worth of borscht, man, and just the Russians just get eaten up by that mess. All right. So he's moved and fired. This guy loses his opportunity fire counter. That's his fire phase, basically. Okay, over to your. We're continuing your movement phase.
Yep. So the two the T91s on the railroad tracks there. They're going to move into 09, 14, 15, and then 16.
Okay, that's 2 full platoons. Anybody else going in there with them?
Yeah, the other full platoon from the tracks there. And then the commander will go into the one with the 2 burning Russian hexes, Russian wrecks.
So these guys are in a fight to the death against like a horde of Russian T-90s. The commander jumps out of his turret. He's taking selfies in front of the burning wrecks. Look what I did this weekend. YOLO. Yep, Ben says he likes lots of red counters. We're going to see some more red counters. Nice move, because these guys do not have line of sight on you because of that tree hex in the way there. Again, scraping fire blocks line of sight. In other words, when the fire from center dot to center dot goes right down the edge of an intervening hex side, does block line of sight in Panzer Leader, does not in Valor and Victory. So, cool. That concludes that part of the phase. Was not in range anywhere for opportunity fire, or I was in range. I was not enough time. Okay, is this APC that is now empty doing anything?
It'll sit there with the SAMs.
How about your drone?
Yes, the drone will move to 12, 13.
Alright. The drone can now make a spotting check against any covered target if he wants.
I'm going to go 2014. The APC's in that little concrete building there on the road.
Alright, so we just have to get to where you have line of sight on him.
Yep.
So, how far north do you want to gamble? Because his line of sight to spot him starts at this line. You have to head northeast of that line. He's got
Okay,
practically...
yeah,
Yeah, either way, he's going to be flying over some Russian autocannons.
Yeah.
So it's up to you.
I don't think it's worth it right now, so I think I'll leave him, back where he was.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're leaving him alone. He's moved. Make sure I'm not forgetting anybody down here. These guys can move half their distance if they want.
They're pretty good.
I would. If they move, they get hit.
Yep.
But if they wanted to escape, they're fast enough where they could like escape into that town if they wanted to. But
no, I'm all good with those.
okay. Meanwhile, up here we are looking at. Are any of these guys unloading? They did fire, so that's half their movement gone.
Yeah.
Okay, so
they're not going to unload. The commander will unload just for safety. I suppose.
Oops. Okay, cool. What this guy will do is he'll back up a hex. Now when he unloads... Oh wait, there was only 1, 2, 3... Yeah, he'll violate stacking if he unloads at the moment. Cool. And then he'll spend his half movement to get out of there. Just so the vehicles are in one place. Lithuanians and Poles. Cool. Alright, these guys are all staying put.
Yep.
All
yeah,
right.
they'll stay where they are.
Just checking any movement from these little bypass units here in the southeast.
Yes, from the APC in 2719.
Alright.
The IFV, sorry. So what's he got? 18.
Some people do call those APCs, but I don't know what the logic is. I always go with APC if it's tracked, IFV if it's wheeled. That's just me, though. That's just me. That's not universal. Alright, so where are they moving?
28, 19, 18, 17. And then into 28, 15. Yep.
Cool.
Actually, let's stay there.
Actually, I would almost... Okay.
I was thinking about moving him up one more hex, but I don't...
That guy is loading his rockets, so he does not have a fire mission yet. He finishes loading his rockets on my turn 5, which is immediately, about to start. And because he doesn't have a fire mission, he's free to fire. So if you move adjacent to him, he can literally level that rocket box and just shoot it at you point blank range. That's almost something that almost never happens, but it is technically possible. It would still be 14 versus 6. However, if you stay back here...
I see, yep. Yeah, I can see.
You do have line of sight on because of where this tree line goes. You're just starting to peek around them. And meanwhile, I do not have you spotted. Now, technically, you don't have me spotted yet, but if I accept a fire mission, which, spoiler alert, I'm going to write down a fire mission to call in. Also, your drone could spot them. Alright, so any other movement from anywhere down here?
No one else will move.
Cool. Alright, so that concludes the NATO turn 4. This one is going to get hairy in a hurry. This little hill of death, man, good grief. My T-90s are about to have a feast. They're going to pay for it, but I think I'm going to finish off those leopards here. Let me see what's going on here in the chat. Hooray for the recounters. Looked a little M1-ish to me. Well, it's got the same gun, Vorpalbite. Is that an actual Leopard 2 silhouette? Absolutely. It is correct. It is a Leopard 2, specifically a Leopard 2 A4. So what you might be confusing that with is the newer Leopards with that additional armor modular plating package they have on the turret face. That's where they get that more dagger shaped front to the turret. That's the Leopard 2 A7. This is the Leopard 2 A4. This is the old 1980s Leopard 2s. So these are the ones that Poland has at the moment. But that is absolutely the correct tank. Everything on here is exactly what it's supposed to be. I do my research. Trust me. And I'm not talking Wikipedia either. Okay, Russian turn 5. Start at the top and just work my way down. Okay, fire phase. I'm calling in a fire mission. Let me get back to my BM-21. My Grod. Alright, so he is now going to be... He spent last turn loading. This turn he can go ahead and accept the fire mission, so he's going to be in... what can he hit? He has a range of 36. He can hit pretty much anything on the table. That is spotted. Alright, I have to call that in ahead of time, so I'm writing down the hex number and the turn that's going to impact on. Indirect fire is called in. Unlike other games, it does not arrive automatically, or it does not arrive right away. I have to wait. Okay, this unit is destroyed. Look at this, the losses are starting to, I think the Russians have lost now more than NATO has. I'm going to fix that in a hurry. Okay, here we go. You know what I forgot to do? I forgot to double these guys versus this JTLV last turn. 16 and 16 is 32 versus 11. Actually, I did remember to do that. Never mind. Because I remember I just barely missed 3 to 1. So 16 and 16 is 32 versus 11 is... No, versus 9 is 3 to 1. However, +1 for the buildings, I get to subtract 1 from the die roll because he's dispersed. So it's a 3 to 1 wash, and a double D will kill him. I'm pretty sure he's toast. Damn it, I'm re-rolling that because I didn't have the dice on. The dice camera on. 5. Stays a 5 on 3 to 1. I really hope he didn't survive that. 3 to 1. 5 is a double dispersal. He's already dispersed. Okay, he is destroyed. Barely. Come on, man. You guys have literally 10 30mm autocannons. You can't blow up one JTLV? I mean, they finally did it, but good grief, man. Here you go, Ben. More rec counters. Because we are considering JTLVs armored targets. Okay. Now, these two clowns in the south. Holy crap. Excel's trying to save the file and it's kind of stuck. Alright, while I'm waiting for that. 16... Oh, Humvees are not considered armored, as we see in Black Hawk Down. So I do not double. It's going to be just 16 versus 3 plus 5 for buildings equals 8. 2 to 1 odds. Just regular 8s versus adjusted 8. 2 to 1 odds. I do have to add 1 to the die roll, so I can only kill him on a 1. A 3, he is disordered. Alright, I'm going to try and kill some more guys here before another Russian bayonet charge. I have a grand total of 32 points versus 11. Again, just short of 2 to 1. Oh! 32
nice.
Versus some point blank is just short of 3 to 1. That becomes a 2 on the 2 to 1 table. He's smoked. Alright, Russians kind of caught a break here finally. That's both of them. If I make a close assault, or if I want to make a close assault, I can't fire, so I'm not going to fire any of this infantry. Last but not least, these three IFEs are going to take a attack. I'm going to try and smoke that heavy weapons platoon. 3 8s, they don't divide, they don't double, equals 24 versus 6 plus 5 is 11. 2-to-1 odds, +1, -1. I think I need a double, I do need a double D, so on 2-to-1 with no modifiers, I need a 4 or less to smoke them. And my webcam is going slow again, so I will wait. And there's the 1. Yeah, I think the Lithuanians are finally they're finally starting to buckle here.
Yeah,
okay.
It's been a decent number of turns though.
One, 2, and just to wrap up this little sub battle. Now, I did have to move to do that, so that mechanized infantry gets one last volley of opportunity fire.
Here we go.
8 versus 7, that's 1-to-1 odds.
A 6.
You failed! The brave music starts, he comes up with his rifle, and he pulls the trigger, and the bolt hits an empty chamber. There goes your last heroic moment. Now I go in there with 4 rifle platoons, that's 28 points, plus a heavy weapons section, make that 5 motorized rifle platoons. 35, 45 versus 7 versus 12. That's not quite 4-to-1. Damn this town. Okay, so he has 12 points. I want to get to 36. 21, 31. So everybody but this one motorized rifle platoon is going to go into that hex. That gives me 35. No. Gives me 38 versus 12. Because again, he gets a +5 because of the concrete buildings. 3-to-1. -1 to the die roll. -2 for cat, +1 for buildings. So 3-to-1, and I need an adjusted 4 or less. 2. That's it for him. Now, again, Panzer leader rules. I do not get to occupy that hex right away. This guy now does his level best. 7 versus 9 is 1-to-2. And subtract 1 from the die roll. You never know. I'm suddenly starting to roll well. Here comes a 1. Slava Russia! A 1! That was it! A 1 -1 becomes a 0 on the 1-to-2 table. That's a kill. That guy just got promoted to Guards Regiment. JTLV, he counts as a armored vehicle. Yeah, it finally collapsed rather quickly. Alright, that wraps up things there in the north. I'll clear that up later. Alright, moving further south, I realized I put my missiles in the wrong place. I didn't expect the battle to take place that far forward. I'm going to have to send somebody all the way back, pick his ass up, drive him all the way forward again. Fortunately, this manpads guy can see... Ooh, actually, no, I can't. We're playing with, like, Nap of the Earth rules. We're assuming that these helicopters are not being foolish. So unless you declare your high altitude, in which case you have opportunity, you have line of sight on everything, the flip side of that is everything has the line of sight on you. So I'm assuming these guys were low, that's why I had to move here, that's why, otherwise he could have fired from that other hex. So long story short, take your second shot. Those SA-25s do not have line of sight at the moment. But helicopters have that option. They can take high altitude, they see everything, which is a good thing. However, everything also sees them. And at least until you knock out that manpad section, it's probably not a good thing. Although again, it's 40 versus 18, it's only 2-to-1. Alright, cool. So he's done, What's going on down here? Nothing. I already know what that Garand is doing. Down here, he's finished. Oh god. Alright, here we go. Let's wrap up the Russian turn, quick and painless. I promise, Dylan, you won't feel a thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. All times 2. 8. 8 times 48. Hey Ben, when was the last time you had 384 attack factors in Panzer Leader? And I'm leaving one platoon out of it. Oh god. Okay, that is 384 divided by 68. 5 to 1. I have to add 1 to the die roll for my for your trees. Those leopards are probably toast. 8-4 becomes a 5 for trees. That's exactly what I needed. Alright, so yeah, that is, I do apologize, but you're going to light up my remaining tanks in return. But that was pretty much all my tanks have now fired. This guy's going to try to rally. He does rally on a 1. That was awesome. I think the Russians may have just won this game. At least until those Apaches show up. That concludes the Russian turn. Split move and fire. Well, to be, oh, I can only move one tank in there. I'm like, I could just move forward. I'm gonna cut my losses. Man, oh man, that wasn't a computer issue. That was my fault. So split move and fire, he's falling back a little bit. Alright, cool. Yeah, that's it for the Russian turn. Over to you for NATO turn.
Cool.
Let's check out Mr. Chat. 384, yeah, man. I mean, it's not often I get like 40 T-90As that close to German tanks. Now, the bad news is he's about to overrun me. I could have fallen back with that other wing a little bit, but that only opens up the door to the subjective hex. Okay, yeah, I'm fine where I'm at. Cool, it's up to you for your, all this upfire is out of here. That was from last turn. Also, I gotta watch out for those hinds. Alright, cool. It's up to you now for your turn.
Cool. So the first shooting I'll do is with the ground-to-air missiles, the SAMs.
Okay. Hold on a second. Ground-to-air missiles.
Oh, with the SAMs, sorry, the SAMs.
So, oh yeah, these grounds here. Oh, I did move him again. Okay, cool. That's cool. 30 versus 18, 1-to-1. Go for it.
2.
He is pinned down. Or disordered. You know what kind of screwed things up a little bit? Oh, never mind. There's an embankment in the way. Never mind. This highway embankment on this overpass is what was blocking the anti-tank missile fire from your Lithuanians that could have helped out. Those trees don't block it. Yeah, okay, never mind. There's high ground between you and those Russians on the high ground.
The APC on the right-hand flank there on that little hill.
Yep, way over here.
He's going to shoot into the missile launcher.
Okay, here's what we do. Buzz around over here and roll a d6 with your drone.
5.
All right, you got him spotted. And that's how you do it, because right now he hasn't fired yet while you've been looking at that hex. All he's done so far is load missiles and load rockets and accept a fire mission. So now he's spotted, and now you can go ahead and fire.
Okay, cool. So it's 8 on 2.
Yeah, it's 4 to 1. Add 1, so it's 4 to 1. Add 1 to the die roll because of the woods.
A 2.
That smokes him. Oh, you know what I haven't been doing? I haven't been added smoke counters for unarmored kills. That's okay. Never mind. That's too bad, because those missiles were landing right here. Those Grad rockets were landing right there. That's a nice juicy hex. These Russians have been yelling into their radio all day. I look right through the highway overpass. I see them. Please send rockets. Alrighty. Cool. And alright, let's go ahead and do any other fire phase. This Humvee gets to rally.
Yep.
That's part of the attack phase.
4.
He does rally, and now he gets half of his movement if he wants to get out of there. Or he can stay there and just go down swinging.
Yeah, he's going to go down swinging.
All right. If he advanced into the objective hex, he would just fall victim to opportunity fire from all those guys, and then I would take it on my turn. So it's almost better if he just stays where he is.
Yep.
Okay, any fire besides the SAM, because we've already fired him, coming from any of these units?
No, the only fire left will be from the Hinds.
Okay.
So they'll be after they move. So.
Alright, awesome. Fire the Hinds.
Yeah, so they'll move first though. So that's the end of the fire phase. Yeah.
Alright, cool. Let's go ahead and start moving with the Hinds.
They'll go to 0718.
I would take opportunity fire, but I am... Oh, never mind. I haven't moved enough yet. Or you haven't moved enough. I keep forgetting about that. All right. And now go ahead and fire.
So they'll put 1 shot each into one of those 2 tanks in... What's that? 0818.
We're not using fire and maneuver, are we? Pin down the enemy before you overrun them?
I don't know, Jim.
I don't know. Okay, so he's not going for kills here, guys. He's going for multiple pins. So 16 times 2 is 32. So 32 on 24, that's 2 1-to-1s.
Okay. A 2 and a 3.
Those are 2 pins. It worked. Now, when he sweeps around the back of this ridge to overrun me, I only get to opportunity fire with 1 tank. These guys will not have opportunity fire because of the tree line. So he's using the tree line and his gunships to divide by fire. Which is why I should have pulled that company off that ridge. That's alright, never mind. I'll take some poles with me. Oops. Okay, any other movement? I'm assuming there's going to be some movement down here.
Yeah, those tanks are going to do exactly what you just said.
Yay! Stand by for an overrun. This deserves an actual overrun counter. There's the thumbnail for this episode right there. Look at that. Alrighty, now he is going to take his opportunity fire. That is 48 becomes 96. That's going to be 4-to-1 on 1 tank platoon. Actually, I'm going to go for... Yeah, 94, I'm sorry, 96 versus 22. Come on. I say 2, that is 1 platoon of Polish tanks smoked. That's when, that was a rec counter there, so you can't actually do that. But if you want, you can overrun that way. I still can't opportunity fire because the tree's in the way. And now you basically have two, come on, two overruns with your command element and going in there. Alright, so now we're looking at, okay, everything just gets added up normally. 24, 48, 48, I don't even know what that is. Then I will check out the chat. 120 divided by 72. 1-to-1 odds becomes 2-to-1 odds on an overrun, and then you subtract 2 from the die roll. Please roll well. If you roll above a 4, we're doing it over. Go ahead and roll.
A 3.
A 3. Okay, that is a legit destruction on 3 Soviet tanks. 3 Russian tank platoons. And I kind of deserve that, because I did not take proper use of my split moving fire from earlier. I should have fallen back into this town, but then I was worried about leaving this tank platoon company by itself, isolated. They could not have really made the same movement without catching opportunity fire from the Heinz, but whatever, it's too late now. The problem with really aggressive attacks sometimes is that when the enemy makes a counterattack, if any of the enemy's left, you you're not always in the best position to get the hell out of there, to break off the attack. Like Pickett's charge, when they run up that ridge, when the attack breaks down, they have to walk back. You know, that kind of thing. The good news is I now own 3 objective hexes, so I can kind of take the defense now. And he's
British did something similar in North Africa. It was a German World War II tactic. You know, if you know an attack's coming, you preempt it. So they tricked them into thinking an attack was coming to make them attack defensive positions and sort of catch them off guard. So
the Germans would do that aggressive. To the British, you mean, or?
Oh, the British would do that to the Germans. They would make them think they were going to recklessly attack, so they'd come in to do a counterattack. And
the British recklessly attack in North Africa? No wonder the Germans fell for it, because the British did that like every day. Rommel reaches out with his Mark IIIs and Mark IIs, and basically, pecker slabs the British, and then they all run away, and then the British come tearing ass after them. And the second they crest that ridge, oh look, reverse slope positions of 88s from like 3 miles away. You're all dead now. All your tanks are burning. NATO is still ahead on the total kill number. I may have sort of won-ish this game. Although, again, the game's not over by any means. But the point is, I now own 1. I will in a second. 2. I own 3 objective hexes, so right now I'm sitting on a marginal victory. I can afford to sit back, hedgehog in place, and make NATO come to me. So I may do that, especially since I just lost a whole company of friggin' T-90s in 1 die roll. That wasn't very nice, Damon. I don't appreciate that. Or Dylan, I don't really appreciate that. Okay.
Sorry, Jim.
No worries. Hey, I wiped out all your leopards, man. I knew that was going to be expensive. Good news, you've now also lost some of your PT-91s, and I'll trade fire with PT-91s all day. I can attack them on parity. This game might come down to your last Lithuanian IFVs. Okay, I'll check out Mr. Chat. Cool. Everything looks like it's still pretty cool in chat. Thanks very much for coming back, Vorpal Bite. I just do not recognize the sloped armor. Okay, the sloped armor is what? All right, there really isn't that much sloped armor on the M1. That's one of M1's many weaknesses. I mean, the front of the turret has a little bit of an angle to it, but not much. But a Leopard 2 has no sloped armor at all. Hence, the way these look. These have these very box-shaped turrets. I mean, look at that. There's no slope to that armor at all, except on the glacis plate. That armor is slab face on the front. Also, there you go. That's kind of the right size. Now, the newer Leopards absolutely do have slope armor. That's how you tell. 2 A7s. Alright, any other movement for you before we wrap up your turn?
Yes, those APCs are going to do a bit of moving.
These two down here in the southern town?
No, the ones on the ridge,
up
on the hill there. Yep.
I'll call it Commonwealth Ridge, the Lithuanian Polish Commonwealth. Alright, where are they doing?
So the first one is going to move into 1608.
Oh, he's coming to take my town back from me. Okay, how exactly are you? You have plenty of movement, so how exactly are you going to do that? Because these guys
diagonal north.
They will have opportunity fire if you're not careful.
Yeah, so they're going to go diagonal northeast. So into
1, 2,
through those 09 and 08 hexes there.
3, 4. No, I'm sorry. 1, 2, 3. I take opportunity fire right here. Unless you want to choose a different route.
No, that's probably the best for me.
Okay, and that's this guy can. I don't know if these guys can see you. They're blocked by that town hex barely. Especially once I take an accurate measurement. You'll be right behind these town hexes. You're okay. He's back behind the ridge. All right, so it's just going to be these two.
Yep.
2, 4. That's going to be 2 8s versus a 6. 16 versus 6, because those autocannons only double within 2 hexes. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 16 versus 6. 2 to 1 odds. Turn on Mr. Camera. Get it in the dice box, man. God. A 5. Damn it. I think you're pinned. 5. Okay, he is disordered. So he gets disordered, and when a transport unit is disordered, it automatically unloads. And the passenger unit is also disordered. Okay, and that is him for opportunity fire. We already know he's spotted. Okay, what are the other two guys doing?
So the one in 1110 is going to move into 1109.
1.
1209, 1308, 1307. Into there and
undercover.
Yep. How far is that? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
You started off. Where do you started off in 110, so that's gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay.
He's got 13 movement points left.
He'll move into 1608. Those concrete buildings.
Okay, and when he gets there, he's only spent now technically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then he's on the road. 6. He's only spent 6 movement points. Does he want to unload?
Yep.
That was the right answer. Alright, and then this guy here?
He will pretty much do the same maneuver but end up in the town hex behind and then unload.
Change picture. No, right in front.
And that should be the end of my turn.
Come on, computer. Why is this running so slow? This file's not that big. Alright, we've now saved the file. I'm going to go ahead and close this for a minute. Maybe something's up with my Excel client. Basically give Excel a fresh start. Alright, checking out Mr. Chat. Vorpal says it just doesn't look like the Leo 2. I know. You can take my money, take my word for it. It is. You can take it to the bank. It's the Leopard 2A4, 2 Alpha 4. Is the variant. It's not the most modern, most recent Leopard 2. It's the Leopard 2 from the 1980s. And the image is sourced from a very reliable site. It's not Wikipedia. Quite frankly, I'll just leave it alone. Cool. So that will be the end of NATO Turn 5. We're just about done here, guys. We don't want to be here all night, to be sure. The turns are going to start going faster now that most forces are committed. Okay, Russian turn 6. Alright. What am I doing? What am I doing? It's time for me to start getting a little more circumspect. 2-3, back behind woods. Two, three, 4. Shit. Or can I be cheesy about it? 1. 1. 2, 3. That's the best I can do. 4. Alright, I did spend 4 movement points in your line of sight. Those 2 PT-91 platoons can take a shot on me. I am in buildings. I am temporarily spotted because I'm still moving. I'm trying to duck back there under cover, but I don't quite make it, even if I use the road rate and try to be cheesy with it. Same with your Hinds.
Okay, they will. The tanks will, but the Hinds will not.
Okay, so that's going to be. Oh god, damn it. Well, I do have buildings, so I do have some bonus. 2 96s. So, oh my god, 2 4-1s, really? Yeah. All right, yeah, 2 4. Are you engaging one or both of them?
One on each, yeah.
Okay, yeah, so it's 2 attacks, because you're still within half range, you still double, that's going to be 96 versus 24. You do have to add 1, so they have a 50-50 chance. You need to roll an adjusted, I'm sorry, you need to roll a natural 3 or less. 2 attacks.
Okay. A 2 and a 3.
Damn it!
If you ever needed to roll a 2 or a 3, that was the time.
Yep. They almost got away. Alright, now that's op fire here. The last guy does the same thing, except he winds up in these wait a minute, 1, 2, 1, 2. Nope, I wouldn't have made it. Alright, but this guy gets them to those concrete buildings. Alright.
Can I fire the Hinds at hit?
Yep. I will be 1, 2, 3. Yeah, now the chance there, I will be in concrete. Ooh, I could have done that. Damn it! Yeah. But he'll be in concrete buildings. Because he's on a road hex here, and he's entering a town hex, which is considered a unidirectional. I totally screwed that up. You still would have killed him with those rolls, but one of them would have survived. Alright, so you've got, those are autocannons, so they don't double out past 2. It's going to be 2 16s, 32 versus 29, 1-1.
Cool. A 4.
He's pinned. Oh no, +1 to the die roll because I'm in buildings.
Oh,
Becomes
yeah,
a 5. He's okay.
Cool.
I should have done that with all 3 platoons, but no worries. That's 2 big mistakes I've made down there. Probably because I'm arguing about what a Leopard 2 looks like. I mean, I'm only a published military expert, but what do I know? Alrighty. That, although I sure as hell didn't show by that move. That was atrocious. I have no one to blame but myself. Alright, no worries. Okay, continuing my attack phase / movement phase. This guy over here is going to try and rally. He fails. I was winning this game, I promise. Ooh, let me do things in the right order. Sorry. 32 versus 7. No, 32 versus 8 is a nice 4-1. Add 1 to the die roll. God bless, that Humvee is still alive. That's okay, I'm going to cat attack him now. I can only put one hex, one unit in that hex because there's 2 wreck counters in there. What the hell? 4 to... That's going to be 4... Uh-oh, did we suddenly lose Dylan? What the deuce happened there? Did we suddenly lose you?
Just got booted for some reason, I think. All good.
Oh, that's my Russian electronic warfare. He can't win if he can't see the board. Alright. Alright, so that massive fire phase. Oh, I wasn't even allowed to do that because this guy had already fired, so that was an illegal attack anyway. But anyway, he's definitely only pinned down. That fire came from up north. So actually, let me recalculate that. So I'm not cheating. That's going to be 8 plus 8 is 2 to 1, and I rolled a 6 plus 1. He's not even pinned down. Because I fired these guys into that hex as well, forgetting he'd already taken opportunity fire against this hex. So, my apologies. Alright, now I've got a total of 21, 31 versus 8. So that becomes 3 to 1. Badly. Subtract 1 from the die roll for counterattack. Now my damn webcam isn't showing. Alright, here we go. 3 to 1, minus 1 from the die roll. There we go, finally, that stupid Humvee is dead. Good grief. I lose this spotting counter because the unit that had you spotted was these Hinds, and the Hinds have been pinned down, so you can't spot when you're pinned down. These units are still spotted, however, from these ground troops. Still no line of sight there. Yep, that will wrap things up for the Russian turn. Over to you for the NATO turn on turn 5. Oh, I'm sorry, turn 6.
Okay. Not a lot going to be happening with the tanks, I don't think.
They can still move half their distance even after they fire. Don't make the same mistake I did and forget their split move and fire.
As far as direct shooting goes, the only thing I've got is the SAM.
Actually, we've been kind of screwing up the SAM.
Okay.
Where, like, my SAM hasn't been able to shoot at you, your SAM has been shooting at me. Although, come on, machine. I mean, it's cool, it doesn't matter. Yeah, there's technically no line of sight there.
Okay.
It's blocked in Hex 10-12. Now, before, when you put all the fire off that ridge, like you were in Hex 10-11, 11-11, 11-10 with all your autocannons off of those Wolverines, that was always legal, because you were up on high ground. But, no worries. So you may want to load them up on their APC and move them someplace.
Yeah, in a better position. Yeah.
Hex 10-10 looks pretty good.
Yeah. As far as direct fire, can the unit in 1608...
Oops. Yeah, because this guy's been blasting away all game, so he can definitely... In fact, I'll put the spotted counter back on him. He's definitely been spotted. Yeah.
Yep. Just worried about the APC could probably shoot, but the infantry range...
The infantry cannot engage at that range against armored targets. That APC can engage with 10 versus 8, 1-to-1, add 1 to the die roll if you want.
Yep, I'll do that.
Okay. Now you are spotted as well.
Yep.
Cool. But you're in a concrete building, so...
A3.
A3 becomes a 4 that just pins them down. What do we got here? Vorparbite says the silhouette looks just like the pictures, just like you said. Yeah, it's just the older leopards. If you're looking at the newer Leopard 2s, absolutely it will not look the same. Yeah, the newer Leopards have that additional armor that gives the front of the turret a much more pointed shape. I don't know how that doesn't create a shot trap, but I didn't design the thing. I'm sure they knew what they were doing. I look at the new Leopard 2s and I'm like, what the hell, man? You guys just built, like, a hell of a weakness into your tank design, but whatever, I don't know. How incoming rounds don't skip underneath and hit the front of the turret ring with that arrowhead turret design is kind of beyond me. But I'm not an expert on that part. You have to ask somebody like John Lyons about that stuff.
Wouldn't be the first time a tank designer had made a tiny mistake.
I mean, yeah, because the front of the turret has this very, I almost want to call up an image on Google now, but it has like that very pointed shape on the cross section. And how the underside of that arrowhead doesn't cause rounds to deflect down into the gap between the bottom of the turret and the top of the hull, basically impacting directly against the turret ring.
Well, I mean, they did make the Cromwell, which is just a box, in 1943 or 44. So even experts.
At least it was a fast box. I would never call a British tank designer in World War II an expert in anything, except...
no, that's true.
I mean, British tanks in World War II, good God. Not that American tanks were that much better, but they were better than British tanks. Oh my God. Okay, so that's him.
The end of the direct fire.
That's him fired. He can try to rally on direct... Actually, you have 2 units. The APC and the passenger unit are now individual units.
Yep.
So roll for the APC.
A 4.
He rallies. Roll for the infantry platoon.
A 2.
He also rallies. Okay, the Humvee's toast. He can't really see anything. Actually, he can. Barely. I mean, barely. But by the strict rules of the line of sight, yeah, these two hexes do see each other. Although you're in buildings, so if you want to maintain your cover, you can. But if you want to shoot, you can.
I think I'll shoot. Yeah.
1-to-1. He is not in undercover, so no additions to the die roll.
A 1. Ooh.
Becomes a 2. He's pinned. No, he's destroyed. You rolled a 1, right? A natural 1?
Yeah, natural 1.
Smoked him because he's not under tree cover. Yeah, so for people in the chat, we are using the new combat results table from Tactical Combat Middle East. It's a little punchier. I like to use it on chat or on stream for 2 reasons. Number 1, it's easy to remember. Notice, what do you need to kill on the 1-to-1 table? A 1. What do you need to kill on the 2-to-1 table? A 2. A 3 on the 3-to-1, a 4 on the 4-to-1. It's also more elegant in its design. It's a nice straight probability line right down the columns. And it's a little punchier, which means it's more fun for streams. More rec counters, people get blown up quicker. It makes the game go a little quicker, which is kind of what we're going for here. Trying to go for faster, more fun streams. Which is not always easy to do in Panzer Leader, but we do try. Alrighty, that's him smoked. And you spotted. Alrighty. Is this guy going to load or move or do anything? Oh wait.
Yeah, they'll load up today.
Yeah, you said end the fire phase, not the movement phase. My bad. Okay, over to your movement phase now.
Okay, so the Sam guy will load into his APC.
Alright, that was 9 movement points for the APC.
And then move up into that 10-10 count hex.
1, 2. 11 total movement points, he's good to go. Alright, any movement here from these commanders?
Nope, no, they'll stay where they are.
Alright, these vehicles, even the ones that fired, get to move if they want.
Yes.
Technically, they all did fire. This guy rallied, that was his attack. But they do have access to the split movement fire roll.
Yeah. So the vehicles, so the first one that'll move will be the one in 1608.
Alright.
Those concrete buildings there. He'll move back 1 square northwest, 1 hex. Okay. Then the infantry will take his place.
Okay, the infantry can't move. They don't have split movement fire. The infantry never fired. Sorry. My bad. So they, yeah.
And then the other infantry will join them. And then the APC will go with the other APCs.
While he's here. Okay, so he can go this way, so he doesn't draw opportunity fire.
Oh, good. I didn't even spot that. Good.
Yeah, in 1508, he gets pretty badly shot up by 2. But if he hooks north into 1507 and then down through the city streets, he's screened from autocannon fire from 3 platoons of BTR 82s. Alright, that leaves just this guy.
He'll join the other APCs.
Cool. Alright. I'm assuming the commanders are good where they are?
Yep, commanders are good.
He moved.
It's going to be tricky. The Hinds will sort of stay put.
Okay.
The 2 tanks which took their opportunity fire.
Yep, they can still move half. They have 6 movement points left. They do still have the old T-72 engines, so they only have a movement rate of 12.
So they'll move into 0820 with that woods hex.
That was 3 movement points. Technically 4 movement points. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's more than a quarter of your movement in my line of sight. Mr. T90A is going to take a 96-point shot, 4-1, against one of those guys.
Cool.
In hex 190919. Or however they moved. Either way, it was 1. Ooh, which way did you move? How about you move this way? You were in this hex here, right?
Yep.
1, 2, 3, 4. At least now I have to add 1 for... whereas if you go 1...
If I go forwards.
2...
Yeah.
Oh, either way. It doesn't matter. Either way. By the time you spend that 4th movement point... Technically that 3rd movement point. By the time you spend that 3rd movement point, you're already in woods. So I have to add a 1 no matter what. Alright, cool. So 4 to 1, add 1 to the die roll. 3 becomes a 4. He is smoked.
Oh.
Small bit of revenge. Yeah, that's some deadly ground. This little trapezoid of hexes here. Trying to advance across, or even worse, withdraw across. That's a little deadly patch of ground, I tell you what. Okay, any other movement? And that's also him spotted.
Yeah. The commander will come down and join the tanks in that hex.
Which I now can't do anything about because I've already taken my opportunity fire phase. That hex is now also maximum stacked because there's a rec counter in there.
Yep.
Alright, cool. Alright, I feel a little bit better about holding that southern hex now. That southern objective hex. I do still have my my Russian guards in there. Come into my town. Mr. Putin has wonderful gift basket for you. Mr. Comrade. Alright. Cool. So that's done. Are these guys doing anything? They do still have their anti-tank missiles. They don't really have any targets at the moment, but... Because these guys are being very careful to stay undercover. They haven't shot at you. They're not going to shoot at you. Because you have anti-tank missiles and they don't.
That drone...
Oh no! He remembered he had a drone! Damn you!
Yeah, that drone's going to do a little bit of snooping.
Alright. He's got to get within 8 hexes to do that. What did I say? 10 hexes? 10 hexes?
Yep. Something like that, yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, either way, you're going to be within range of the autocannon.
Yep.
The problem is, now that's my dilemma. If I fire my autocannon, I'm spotted anyway.
Or it's a 50-50 roll.
You spot them with the laser on a 4 or less, so it's a 2/3 roll.
Oh, 2/3 roll, okay.
Yeah. If for the Russian drones, it's a 3 or less. For the Western drones, it's a 4 or less. But for now, we are looking at... I think we had a 5 on that garage, but I think we screwed that up. That's my fault. Now, do I want to fire or not? Either way, I'm going to be spotted. For now, no, I'm going to trust my luck. I probably shouldn't do this, but anyway, go ahead.
Okay.
Also, I don't have a very good chance of shooting down the drone, but...
A 3.
A 3, you do have him spotted. Damn it! So the drone's defense factor is an 8. I could have shot him down or a 1 or a 2. Who knows, maybe I'll shoot him down now on my turn. Now that I'm spotted anyway, might as well. When my turn comes around. Okay, any other actions? I don't know if you have too many more units. Oh, what am I talking about? The reason you spotted was that you could put some fire into those guys. Alright, so that drone did spot. He pinged a laser off of those Russian BTR-82s, and once you do that, again, that gets downloaded via satellite to all your fire control systems. These Lithuanian guys do have those guys painted out if they want to shoot.
Yep, which they will.
Okay, do they want to shoot autocannons or their one and only anti-tank missile?
I'm going to use the anti-tank missile.
Okay, I am in buildings, so I do get a +5 to my defense. Are you engaging one or both?
Both.
Alright, so it's 245s become 90 versus 21. Because 8 plus 8 is 16, plus 5 for the buildings is 21. You don't add it to every unit.
Just for the total?
Yeah, for the total hex. So 8 plus 8, I'm looking at my defense factors for my BTR 82s. 16 plus 5 is 21, divided by 245s. Those are those Israeli spike anti-tank guided weapons. So it's 90 divided by, what did I say, 21? 4 to 1, you have to add 1 to the die roll.
Okay. Here we go. Come on. Roll good. A 1.
Damn it! That's both of them smoked.
Whew. If I ever needed to get a good dice.
And that is the end of those. Now you got this guy left is the only one left with missiles.
Yep. Whew.
Alright. I think that closes out the NATO turn 6.
Yes.
Which means I will then check out Mr. Chat. Alright, then we'll start turn 7 after I check out the chat. Game lasts 8 turns. Alright, so trundle about the battlefield emitting tremendous amounts of smoke. Yes, we're talking about the one of the support versions of the God, what the hell was it? The Crusader in the desert. The Crusader battle tank that the British had. The support version, the close support version, which had like a 3-inch mortar, but they gave it no high explosive. It only gave it smoke rounds. So that's a that's our boy. What's his name? Dr. Fletcher from Bovington Tank Museum. Remember him? My girlfriend calls him.
Yeah.
My girlfriend calls him Tank Muppet because he looks like a Muppet. That's what my girlfriend thinks. Oh, that was kind of true. So here's a tank whose sole purpose is to trundle about the battlefield, making great clouds of smoke. It really is quite ridiculous. He's funny. He's talking about the Finnish. We're using the Vickers Type 26. He's like, you know, this was a good tank because the British, although they manufactured it, the British Army didn't buy it.
It's a pretty good sign. Yep.
All right, so German, God, Russian turn 7. He can't fire because he fired before. Tell you what he will do, though. He'll back up a hex and displace. He's no longer spotted. Ho ho ho! Yeah, this game is going to wrap up really quick because I'm going to try to rally this Hind. Come on, Hind. 1, finally. That's his attack. He has no anti-tank missiles. Come on. I don't know what the hell's going on with this thing. Why are you punishing me? Oh my god. Alright. That took way too long. I'm thinking about how the best to set this up. First of all these assaults are over. Hedgehog in place. Try to rally that 3, he does succeed. Split move and fire, his attack was to rally. See, this is the hex that's vexing me, 1807. It's a beautiful hex to fire from, but I'm going to just keep getting pinged and get the hell shot out of me from these guys here. And you're in cover, I'm not. I'm not in cover. I cannot see you from hex 1804, 1806, I mean... don't think I ever moved a quarter of my movement in your line of sight, so there's no opportunity to fire there. Basically hooked around behind the town. Okay, that's gonna have to be it for there, for down there. Okay, I think it's about the best I can do for my poor Soviets. I keep calling them Soviets, stop doing that. My poor Russians. Oh no, using the road movement rate. Alright, that'll be it for my turn. Over to you for NATO turn 7.
Cool.
Look at all those wreck counters. And this game is still down to the wire. He's got basically 2 turns now to take back at least one of my objective hexes.
I think I can do it.
I think you might be able to as well. I'm trying to be very cagey with my defense, but I just don't have enough left. Dang, guys, I got to go to a Zoom meeting. The Bills are on the prime time the next 2 weeks, so I'll be here for the next 2 games. Okay, cool. No worries. Thanks very much. Thanks very much for coming by, Vorpalbite. Yeah, we're running kind of late, guys. But no worries. The goulash cannon will be waiting when you are done. The Chinese goulash. Oh, we got Chinese food. All right, Dylan, I'm just going to go ahead and call the game now. It's an overwhelming Soviet-Russian victory because Chinese food has arrived. Chinese food always beats out over gaming. No, I'm just kidding. Cool. Yeah, it's almost coming up on 8 o'clock over here now. But we've only been up for less than 3 hours, so yeah, we're actually kind of right on schedule. Cool. Go ahead and start your fire phase, please.
Cool. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is put the commander of those Polish tanks.
Yep.
He's going to put it round into one of those paratrooper units.
Neither of them are spotted, so they haven't fired out of those axes.
Oh, okay.
Now, your drone can maybe do something about that.
Thank you, Jim. The drone will do something about that.
All right. These little drones are a pain in the ass. That's why sometimes we try to shoot them down. Okay, so he has a movement rate of 30. As he buzzes past, my guys are going to try and shoot him down because I'm getting tired of this. So he was here. He's trying to get there. He could take some kind of circuitous route, but nothing that's going to take him outside of 10 hexes of those two guys. Plus these two guys. Although, do I want to spot him? No, I don't want to. I should say I don't want to reveal his position. Man pads. My missile's going to try and shoot down your drone. I keep forgetting. You keep forgetting you have a drone. I keep forgetting I have a man pads that can shoot down your drone. I could have shot him down like 1, 2, 3, 4. How many turns has it been? Okay, so it's 40 versus your defense of 6. However, notice these 2 stars, or versus 8, I should say. Notice those 2 stars. I have to add 2 to my die roll. So those things are pretty good against missiles. The reason they have such a low defense factor is that they are vulnerable to ground fire. Because they fly very low. That's why they don't. They have a low defense factor. So infantry can shoot them down with surprising ease. Autocannon can definitely shoot them down with surprising ease. What has a tough time with them is missiles, surface-to-air missiles, because they're mostly to shoot at larger aircraft, usually jets. Notice this thing has a propeller engine. So that's that's the reason for all the penalties. Also, the second you put a RAN pads on the table, it just wipes out all the drones, which is now what we're seeing on the modern battlefield. Also, the forces that we're using drones against don't really have man pads available to them, so who knows? But that's the reason for that weird number system there. So the short answer is I have 5 to 1. However, I have to add 2 to my die roll, which means he's probably going to survive. I have to roll a modified 2 or less to kill him, or a natural 2 or less. A 6, I miss. See, case in point. All right, that's that opportunity fire. Now I have a total of 1, 2. Fuck it. 3, 4. 4 to 1, because it's 4 8s versus your 1 8. And these guys. Nope. That one. And these guys do not divide, or do not have to add 2. So now it's 4 to 1. Come on, shoot down the drone, please. Boom, drone is smoked. But that was their fire and their fire. Okay, over to, yeah, now again, these guys are not spotted. You're going to have to make them fire or roll right up next to them or something.
Yep. In that case...
That's why, by the way, this tank unit displaced. He fired out of that hex, and then he used split movement fire to displace.
Yep.
The last Russians are suddenly getting very anal with the rules. They're getting cagey. At which point my Russian tank commanders are like, you should have been playing like this the whole time. Damn you. We wouldn't all be burning in this hill of death. Actually, I don't mind these losses. The only one that really gets my goat are these 3. I threw those 3 away. When they fired and they helped destroy these 2 leopards, they could have taken 1, 2, 3, 4. I could have had 3 more tank platoons in there, and that hex would be locked up. But I didn't do it. I was worried about sacrificing my other tanks by leaving them isolated and alone out there, and I wound up losing them anyway. I should have just run when I could. I can't even blame the dice on that. That was just me being dumb.
think the only fire I've got left may be the infantry in the north.
For fire phase, actually, I don't think you have too much spotted here. Those guys are new. They're not spotted yet. They just moved and they're having fired. Unless you want to charge.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that.
That would technically be movement phase, but...
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much everything I had, I tried to move. I tried to break up a lot of lines of sight here.
Yep. No, that's cool. So on to the movement phase.
Okay. Want to start in the north or the south?
We'll start in the south.
Walkabout Game says, this game got brutal. Hell yeah, man. Look at this hill. Remember, every one of these is a platoon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. There are, some of them were 2 tank command sections, but there's basically 50 or 60 wrecked tanks. Right here. Yeah, this one got nasty.
Alright, so I'm going to open with the Hinds.
Okay.
They're going to move onto the objective hex.
Now, they can't occupy it because they don't have troops.
No.
But now, for your next fire phase, everybody's spotted because you're adjacent to all those people.
Yeah. And they're going to take their fire.
Okay, that's true. The helicopters are allowed to do that. Yep.
What do I put it into?
Yeah, here you got some choices.
Mm-hmm. Put it into... Well, I'm going to put one of them into the infantry in the wooden buildings there.
Okay, so that is going to be 16 to 8, 2 to 1, add 1 to the die roll.
A 3.
Becomes a 4. He is pinned.
And I'll put the other one into the other infantry unit as well.
Okay, now that one's going to be 1 to 1 because I'm technically worth 13 in that one. Those are concrete buildings. So 16 versus 13. 1 to 1, add 1 to the die roll.
A 2.
2 becomes a 3. He's also disordered.
Okay, that's better than I expected. Well, in that case, my tanks will... Can I overrun those positions?
No, because they're in buildings.
They're in buildings, yeah, that's right.
You can only overrun and clear terrain.
Yeah. In that case, both my tank units there will move into 13...
13, 18.
13, 18, yeah, they'll both move into there. Thought, do I tag the objective hex, but then I'm too close to that. Yeah, no.
1... Well, technically, yeah, 1 to mount the road, and then 2... I'm just making sure you don't ever catch opportunity fire from this guy, but no, you don't.
Yep.
Ah.
Okay. And those APCs haven't got any...
They still have their chain guns. Their chain guns double at 2 hexes, so they're still 16 points.
And those units up there are taking
no
opportunity
missiles.
fire.
Yes, also there's no line of sight.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, there's a building hex between us.
Well, there won't be any more though, because one of those APC units is going to occupy that objective hex.
Sweet. At the moment, I can do nothing about it. Now, guys in the chat, he can't send in more than that because that hex can only hold three counters. And some of them are wrecks. Okay, this computer is about to really get on my nerves here. One. Thank you. Was that so hard? The streets are clogged with burning Russian BTRs. That's how you know you're in Eastern Europe.
And that last APC.
Yep.
Hmm.
He's got probably the most valuable commodity on the he's the only guy left on the table that has any anti-tank missiles left. He's got the golden bullet. The commander's like, load it into the tube, but be very gentle.
Very carefully.
Oh, technically this guy's got anti-tank missiles still. But I just left him in a bad position.
Yeah. This guy, those wreck markers have really messed me up.
Yeah, in the long games of Erebus Relay Wars, you actually have to start worrying about that. Like, especially near, like, where they were recrossing the canal, like around Chinese Farm, Missouri Ridge, that whole tarmac area, got so clogged that there's rules for 2 main battle tanks can clear out a wreck counter. They can just remove it. And they basically just push, like we see in A Bridge Too Far, like tanks just pushing dead tanks off.
Pushing other tanks.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna try something a little adventurous here. I'm gonna move the APC into 2716.
Okay.
2616.
Okay.
2516, 2416, 2315. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
2316. Okay.
So is that 7?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If he goes to 2316.
Then
2 to enter the trees.
Yep. So then 2818.
2818.
Oh, sorry, 2218. Sorry. And then onto the road northwest.
All right, that costs 2. So 6, 7, 8.
And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 square hexes southwest.
Okay. Oh, never mind.
And then how many?
It's
how
on
many
high
men-
ground, so I shoot over those trees. But where are you? Here, right here. One, 2, 3. Oh, then you blocked. Okay, never mind.
And then for the last bit of movement, into those woods and then into the same hex as the 2 tanks.
Alright, so you started off in hex 28,
26,
28, 17. So I'll just use this as a targeting icon just because I'm going to be targeting you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I see you. 1. Technically 1, 2. 3, 4. That is a quarter of your movement. I am not. You're on high ground. I am not right behind the trees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's going to be a 2-to-1 attack. 16 against 6. He makes it as far as that, and then he gets pinned down.
Cool.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Although, to be fair, and in the interest of gamesmanship, and also this, I think this is your first modern Panzer Leader game. You started off in that hex, you could have done this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And never expose yourself to, because you never fire. And now you've never exposed yourself to opportunity fire because you were behind this highway embankment the whole time.
Okay.
So
that's
yeah.
all good. They're leaving him up on the highway. It's all good.
No, I mean, we're here to learn the game as well as play, so it's fine. Because the guy that could have taken a poke at you was worried about targets out here. So now I'm blocked by this city hex. Those are friendlies. They didn't see you for nearly enough time, plus they already took opportunity fire. Yep. So that means this never happened, which means those guys were still hidden. Alright. Any other movement?
What do I want to do? I'm going to disembark the SAM launcher.
Oh, I keep doing that. Hold on, Excel's frozen because I hit the wrong. I hit the wrong function. Oh, that's annoying. There we go. Guys, we would have called it if this game wasn't so close, but it's actually coming pretty close. So we're gonna do the Monty, we're gonna do the full Monty here, and we're gonna actually play this one out the whole way.
Alright, and that'll be the end of my turn.
Alright, cool. Russian turn 8, last turn of the game. Alrighty. Review. Yeah, it's Excel's moving much faster now, so. These guys do not count as spotted, even though there's an enemy unit adjacent to him, because an enemy unit is pinned. And he hasn't fired out of that hex yet, which means I haven't had a chance to... he hasn't fired out of that hex, which means he's not spotted. I mean, clearly my guys know he's there, hence the counter is on the map, but my individual tank gunners in this last T-90 platoon cannot select... actual point targets. So, let me just go ahead and go through the turn sequence quickly so we don't drag the stream out. Try to rally. Fail. Succeed. Now what I can do is, since I'm already spotted, anyway, is fire my tank at the helicopter. However, I do not get to fire my main gun at the helicopter. A-class weapons firing versus helicopters have 1/4 versus aircraft. Opportunity is 1/4 to a maximum of 4, and only to a range of 4. What that means in real speak is that's the 50 caliber on the roof. You cannot fire the main gun at a Hind gunship, although that would be friggin' awesome. This guy does not get to help because he spent his attack phase rallying. So it's going to be 4 to 18. That's literally 1 to 5. That becomes illegal, so never mind. I don't think I will do that after all. Well, goddamn, dude. Yeah, I think you win. It's a nice little checkmate down here. I can't fire at him. He has me spotted no matter what I do. So I either abandon the objective hex or I either abandon the objective hex or I just stand there and die. Because he's going to fire at me next turn, double. Yeah, that's going to be nasty. And that +5 ain't going to help me worth a shit. That is 48 plus 24, that's 72 times 2. That's going to be 144 points coming back at me. That's going to be damn near 6-1. Yeah, that's a nice little check. A nice little checkmate down here. Look at that. And here I am being nice to him by letting him get his damn anti-tank missiles in there. What the hell, man? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Even then he can take opportunity fire on me because I'm moving through woods. Okay, I think I lost that one. Can't see me. Can see me. 3. That's 1. Problem is the helicopters can see me. I have to take a different path. 1, 2. But if I stay low, the helicopters can't see me, but the tanks can. If I stay high, the tanks can't see me, but the helicopters can. Jeez, I really am screwed down here. Alright, let me focus on what I can do. Nobody here fired last turn, right?
Yeah, no one fired.
So these spotted counters are out of date. Alright. Yeah, the game's pretty much over. Because even if I got really ballsy, and I mean, I have the movement rate where you could never take opportunity fire, and I got up here and fired into this hex, I could probably clean that up, but then I can't occupy that hex, and it's down the last turn of the game. And I don't have him spotted already. Again, what the hell's up with that spotted counter? That's from before when the other units were in there and they shot down my helicopter. Yeah. Now, conversely, can I reinforce that hex? Oh my god, he just occupied this one. I'm gonna lose 2 objective hexes. Hell no, man. But again, I took all the opportunity fire. I think I've totally lost this game. Holy crap. Never mind. Yeah, I go ahead and concede, unless you want to play your last turn.
No, I'm all good.
Yeah, because honestly, there's nothing I can really do down here. You've already taken this hex, and I forgot we were near that close to the end of the game. When I shot down that drone, I can't shoot into him now. This guy doesn't have line of sight. I can't overrun him. I mean, I held up here to the north, but I've lost these 2 objective hexes. I mean, right now I technically still hold it, but on turn 2 or on turn 8, he's going to move. Even if he technically doesn't have one right now, he already occupies 1, 2. He already occupied. Whoa, wait a minute. Damn it! There's a friggin' infantry platoon down there. Shit. Yeah. Alright, yeah, I've tried like 15 different things. There's no way I can unlock this little puzzle box. Cool. I just got checkmated too. I didn't even lose that one by brute force. Dylan, that does it, man. No more soft pitch Panzer leader games for you, man. From now on, we're going all the way, man. That's my
good.
Well done though, man. Well done. I didn't even realize I lost that game. I lost that game a turn before I even realized it. Legit. Holy shit. Thanks very much, Dylan, for the great game. Thanks for, again, helping us out with our Sunday content. Any other questions or comments from you before we wrap things up?
No, thanks for having me, Jim. It was really fun. It's good to play something different than, like you said, Americans and Germans and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, how many times can you do, American paratroopers versus, Volksgrenadiers in Normandy? I mean, so we do try to do different things here on the Sitrep Podcast. Once in a while, of course, we always do go back and we do our classics. Yeah, Walkabout Games in the chat says NATO win. Yeah, NATO did win that game. Legit. All right, guys. Thanks very much. I'm going to go ahead and close out the stream. Have a great rest of your weekend and a great week going forward. But for now, we're going to go ahead and close it out. Thanks very much, everybody, and we'll be in touch later on this week.